Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Sports.
to BWP. And I gotta say, wrestling is back. Because the final boss, what you gonna do now? He's returned. The Rock has come back to Atlanta. To
We have
Bad
emotions.
Bloods. We have thoughts, we have feelings, we have emotions. Gentlemen, what a wild ending to this show. And going into it, I think a lot of people felt the sentiment of why the fuck isn't Drew and Punk main eventing? And why is this tag match with the Bloodline main eventing? And then we all thought to ourselves, there is a chance that we could see a big moment. And Jimmy Uso was that big moment. I'm totally joking. Jimmy was actually a really good moment, and we'll get to it in a sec. But the biggest moment coming out of it was the return of The Rock. We haven't seen him in 6 months since the Raw after WrestleMania, which Emil and I were at, by the way. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, man, absolutely insane. The match was a Bloodline classic. Very slow and full of story. But man, what are y'all's thoughts? Rock is back. What are your initial thoughts about it?
So my initial thoughts was, I told you so. Like, they said Rock was in Atlanta. I was like, oh, he's pulling up. And then they said that the Roman match was going last, which I'll get into those thoughts in a second. But they said Roman was going last, so I said that Rock's coming. It was 1 + 1 = 2, in the best way.
I think my thought also, figured that The Rock was going to show up, right? When they made it public that he was in Atlanta like the night before, it was a 0% chance he wasn't showing up, right? Plus, it's interesting because, Bad Blood is supposed to be the pay-per-view PLE, where feuds end, right? This is where all the heightened feuds go to, they come to an end. This is where the biggest feud in the company just got heightened. There was no end here. It just.
So to jump in before Tyler jumps in one more time, because I think I know where Tyler's going to go here. So Tyler had this point that I think we talked about on the pod, where the precedent that Hell in the Cell main events Bad Blood. As of 2024, so this year, there have been 4 Bad Blood pay-per-views: 97, 03, 04, and this year. So this year, obviously, the Hell in the Cell did not main event, and personally, my personal feelings are I'm okay with that. Like, it's Roman, it's Cody, it's the world champion, it's your 1A and 1B main guys who are drawing all of your people. Like, totally see why that, and it's your biggest story of the last 4 years. Again, just even without glazing, that's just facts, right? That is what it is, right? That is what it is. So it makes perfect sense for this match to go last, even though there's a Hell in the Cell on the card. Now, let's get into the real conversation. The precedent was that the Hell in the Cell always main events a Bad Blood pay-per-view. Let's look at the main events now. So the main event for 1997 was Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. People don't remember, other than the Kane debut, but that was a WWE title match. Cool, so the title's going last. Got it? We following so far? We rolling? Fantastic. Let's go to 2003. It was Triple H and Nash? Ugh.
Yes, it was. For the world title.
But again, Hell in the Cell for the world title. Yes, there's a feud, friendship, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, world title. We still rolling? We with me? We following? Cool, good talk. 2004, Triple H and Shawn Michaels. That was their main event. No world title. We're in June of 2004 at this point. So at this point, name redacted is your world title holder.
I believe he faced Kane that night.
Who faced Kane earlier in the night, and I believe did double duty that same night as well with Edge.
With Edge.
So then the question becomes like, all right, if you're looking at 2004, who's the biggest star? So again, name redacted being we're talking about the wrestler, and we're talking about the wrestler in 2004, not the man behind the wrestler. So just to put that disclaimer out there, as this can become a controversial topic when anything with him comes up. So is name redacted a bigger star than Triple H or Shawn Michaels in June of 2004? The answer is no. The answer is no. Right? Are we rolling?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's all we have to say there. Now let's go to 2024, right? So right now, if you're keeping score at home, the score is 2-1 on title matches being the main event of Bad Blood. Just that also happened to be in a Hell in a Cell. There's your score. So now we're here, and this is the first time a Bad Blood hasn't had a Hell in a Cell main event. However, the main event still has the title. Who's the bigger star in 2024, and what's the bigger story? Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns teaming up to face the Bloodline, or CM Punk and Drew? What is the hottest story? What is selling more money? What do more people see on the internet? Go ahead, you can answer. It's not rhetorical. It's Bloodline. The answer is Bloodline. The Bloodline makes more money than CM Punk does in 2024 for WWE. I don't care how good it is, because it is very good.
Well, I mean,
but
when you look at it, like,
the Bloodline makes more money.
Yeah, it is.
When you take it out of this specific Emil situation of removing all context from the situation, so
that's
it benefits
not context. That's what it is.
Exactly.
That's not taking out context. That's what it is. Look at it at face value. If I show these two cards, right? If I show these two matches to a common fan, right? Not us, not the internet. Right?
But that doesn't matter. You're taking out very important
about? They want the common fan. That's what they want. They brought back all the people who were like, "Oh, I used to watch WWE as a kid. Now I don't watch it anymore." But that's who they're selling to right now. And who do those people like? They like Roman. They like Cody. They like
CM Punk.
They do like CM Punk, but who they like Roman.
So allow me to offer a response. So here's my thing, right? You're taking it in this vacuum of, at the time, without knowing what story was going on, because quite frankly, I didn't know what story was going on with any of these matches. Emil and I had this conversation last night because to break the fourth wall, he called me on his drive back last night from work, and we were having a little discussion, so we kind of got some time to get both of our thoughts together as well. So that's how I knew everything about 2004. I don't just know that off the top of my head. Quite frankly, I don't remember much. But what I will say,
for reference, Emil did not know that either. We did look up this card.
Word, yeah. So, in my thought behind it, I totally understand the argument, right? I totally get the money, the face value of these characters, but that's not, in my opinion, that's not taking into consideration the story that those that I understand. And again, we're talking like the mainstream fans, the most eyes, the most people, because we're getting the common fans as well as the people that have been invested in this for weeks. But that argument also negates what we all have invested in time into this and have been watching, have been waiting for, the payoff to Drew versus Punk. And he's also taking out the context of the fact that The Rock and Jimmy Uso both returned. I think that, and it's not deliberate, but that's just how the argument is positioned. It's positioned in a way to just involve the wrestlers listed as competitors. We're not talking about the story. We're not talking about the promos. We're not talking about the weeks leading up. We're not talking about who returned. We're not talking about who was involved. So here's my thing, and I see you. I will let you finish. Thank you. So my thing is, my opinion and my thought is, had The Rock not returned, if we got the Jimmy return only and no Rock, I think that this would have been perfectly fine to open. But the fact that The Rock returned, it made perfect sense to close the show. So to clarify my argument in its simplest terms, I agree that this match should have closed the show, given the context of the storyline implications. However, the storyline of Drew versus Punk as a whole was coming to a head at this pay-per-view, and if The Rock wasn't involved, I think that should have been the closing match, because that would have been given the most closure that those that have followed the story from the beginning would have been honestly deserved. But we got the same closure. It just opened instead of closed.
So to me, I could look at that match at face value when it was introduced on SmackDown before the Rikishi Jimmy tweet, before Rock was known to be in Georgia, and before we started thinking, all right, is there going to be shenanigans, right? So I would say around the time of the SmackDown premiere on USA, right? I was still thinking this was main eventing. One, it's Cody, right? Like, so to take your argument of how you keep fighting about how Cody's this really good babyface, right? Cody's closing the show. Like, I don't see any show not closing with Cody. I really don't. And then number two, you're telling me Roman's going from main eventing Mania, being the ending, being the cliffhanger for SummerSlam, and then he's jerking the curtain? I don't see that either. I don't see Roman jerking the curtain. I really don't. I don't. Again, who is the bigger star? Roman or CM Punk in 2024? Roman is the answer. Roman is still the answer.
It's very close. Like
It's very
I think that
close.
you're
Like,
undermining how close it is, though.
I'm not undermining how close it is. I'm stating the fact. The fact is Roman is still the bigger man. The
No, that's valid.
bloodline
I'm
is
just
still
saying
the
by
bigger
assumption,
story.
by you making that declarative of a statement, that undervalues Punk's value as well. Not that you're intending it, but that's just how it comes across in its delivery and execution.
Yusuf, come third wheel this.
Hi, am Yusuf. So, I mean, the answer is obviously that Roman is the bigger star than Punk. Yes, it is close, but Roman has just been a part of the bigger story, right? That's just how it's been the whole year. Like, yes, the Punk Drew saga has been so captivating to wrestling fans, but the whole bloodline thing, Cody Roman, all that, right? That has transcended mainstream media. It has transcended to a point where I have friends that are no longer wrestling fans. They have not followed professional wrestling in decades almost. And I have friends texting me going, "What the fuck is The Rock doing talking shit on like a news network, like during an interview about like Cody Rhodes or whatever the hell's going on?" That are like, "Is The Rock back?" You know, things like that. Like that story has transcended to the point where casuals and even like non-wrestling fans know, yes, that had to main event at the end of the day, right? I think the other thing too is there's an obvious aura to that match where, like, sure, Punk and Drew could have main evented. I personally think it should have, but again, connotation, context, and whatnot. We have we have Roman and Cody Rhodes, your two biggest names in the company. One of them happens to be a world champ. Cody's obviously closing the show. Cody is to the point of Cody now reminds me of Okada during his like heavy babyface run as IWGP Heavyweight Champ, where there was no shot he wasn't main eventing a show. I think he had like 3 years straight main eventing every single show that like major show that New Japan did while he was champ or something like that. Like Cody's on that trajectory, right? Like he's just constantly getting main event. So obviously, yes. With the addition of The Rock, we kind of knew he was coming because obviously everything's leading to a head. And this is what I mentioned earlier, where this, rather than Bad Blood being where feuds end, this is where this feud is now heightened further. Because with The Rock reappearing, right, we're setting things up for that potential War Games match at Survivor Series at the end of November. It the problem then becomes, should the Hell in a Cell should it have main evented? Personally, yes, but with connotation and for everything going on, I get why it didn't. That's fine. It is just hilarious to me that a lot of people on, the internet and whatnot are like, "Oh yeah, the potential match of the year candidate opened the show." And I'm like, "Right, but here's the thing. It's not that it needed to, it kind of had to. Because they need to be able to close the show out on a moment that has everyone going, oh fuck, we need to tune into Monday Night Raw. Oh fuck, we need to tune into SmackDown. Because now we need to know what happens next. Jimmy comes back. Oh, now we really got to tune into SmackDown. Or we tune into Raw. Is Jey Uso going to talk about this? That his brother's back? And then, oh, we got to tune into SmackDown. Because Roman has announced that he's working a full-time schedule for the next few months, leading into War Games. So now it's the intrigue, right? It's viewership. It's a business, right? The idea is get people rolling, get people talking on the internet, on social media, everything like that, and make sure you have people like us at home watching SmackDown for the next little while to see where this is going. Now that The Rock is back, is The Rock going to show up on SmackDown? Is The Rock going to show up next week on SmackDown? Is Jacob Fatu going to eat someone? Right? Like that's just it at the end of the day.
I regret to inform you guys, because you guys are conveniently now loving to bring up that Cody is main eventing all these shows. Cody opened 3 different PLEs this year. He opened Bash in Berlin, he opened Backlash, and he opened Clash at the Castle. So I don't really find that argument to be one that's super credible. I can understand the Roman argument. I can understand the Roman and Bloodline.
Let me say something.
I'll take it.
That's a very good point. I will take that. Because I was like, no, he's opening shows this year. I'm like, didn't he open with AJ? I could have sworn he did.
Twice.
Twice. I think the thing is though, right? Like you want your number one guy to either be an opener or a closer, because that's what draws people in, right? If you have an opening, everyone's paying attention to the show from the get-go.
At the end of the day, it could have gone either way with what opened and what closed. It's just what you preferred. And I think that with The Rock being the big reveal, it was a no-brainer that you had to close with the tag match.
It would be-
And also people were like, and myself included, I'll admit it, I was kind of like, oh man, like history like kind of dictates that the Hell in a Cell should close. But little did I know, even until last night, looking at the history of Bad Blood, there's only been 4 shows, including the one that we just had. So like, yes, Hell in a Cell had the precedent of closing, but was it really a precedent, or was it just coincidence? And I think, Emil, you touched on that when we talked about it. Did it just happen to stumble in their lap that they had this, or
it kind of just happened. It kind of just happened. Plus, again, 2 of them were title matches. So
right. That being said, we'll get to Punk Drew because that match was phenomenal. And we'll get to this tag match as well. I want to give just very briefly my personal thoughts on the Rock return, because man, the second it happened, I got chills, man. Like, we're back. Like, the second Rock came out, it immediately gave me that feeling that I got watching Cody and Roman in the football field, and everything that led up to the Bloodline story during the road to WrestleMania and WrestleMania 40 this year. Like, between the Rock and the video package with Cody and Roman in the football field, this took me immediately back and was like, oh shit, like, we're back. And it's only October. Like, we're in WrestleMania feels right now, and it's only October. Granted, will it last? Probably not. I think Rock will be very sparing in terms of appearances. Roman's very sparing in terms of what he's booked for in the next few months. But that being said, before we get to my next thought that I want to pose to you guys to help move the conversation along, I just got to say, I'm assuming it was a choice. It was a deliberate move by WWE, but I didn't like the fact that Pat McAfee kind of gave away the game before the show. I get that the point was probably to put eyes on Bad Blood, because on the surface it kind of did look like a B pay-per-view, but when Pat said that to Cody during the interview, when he said, "Oh, I heard the big guy's coming back," and we got that exchange, I think that put a lot more intrigue into the show, and I think that helped. But as a fan that kind of wanted the surprise, I was kind of, expecting it now, because at that point, because they had that clip of Pat.
The problem with that is, like, the problem I see is when, they make an appearance on the Pat McAfee show, it's great, but I think they also need to maybe inform Pat ahead of time, since he is also under a WWE contract. He is an employee of them. Hey, Pat, there's certain things that are happening tonight. Shut the fuck up. We know you want to talk about all these things, and, you get excited about it. We get that on your show. Now, granted, that's on his show on ESPN, right? So WWE doesn't actually have any power over what Pat can and cannot say on the Pat McAfee show. But it would be nice, just because he's also employed by them, as a heads up, do not bring this up. Because, the whole, the big guy's coming back. Cody was very hesitant on the response, because he's like, fuck. Like, the obvious kind of got revealed, right? Like, the curtain got pulled, and we're like, aha, that's the man behind the curtain. It's Dwayne Johnson.
He could have settled down. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really look at the clip, and like, to me it was kind of too obvious anyway. I think at one point I even went, and it's not on here, at least in our chat, I went, what if Rock comes back now? And Rock is in War Games.
See, I think that was I think it was a deliberate move. I think that not Triple H particularly, but I think WWE, I think he knew what was happening. I think Pat is too big of a player in WWE as one of the biggest commentators. He's got to stay up to date on the lore, because when he comes back during Mania season and after his, College Game Day stuff is over, he's back in the chair, so he's got to stay in the know of what's happening in the storylines. And I'm sure he follows it, but I'm sure that they do their best to keep him, up, like, posted on what's going on. So I think he probably knew, and I think that he probably said it, to Cody while he had Cody, to drum up intrigue about his own show and about the pay-per-view. And I think the WWE knew, I think that, and sorry, I'm saying it very absolute. I think there's a possibility that was deliberate, and I think it was possible that WWE said, hey, bring this up to Cody. We want to build intrigue going into the show. It's a B pay-per-view that not as many people might be looking forward to it. So let's get some eyes on the product and get some ears on the product. So I think that could have very well have been a deliberate move. But as someone who's been a fan that's been invested in the product for a long time and has been especially reinvigorated this year, I wish I didn't know. I wish I didn't see that. I wish that didn't happen. But you know, it just sucks because, you know, obviously, like we've said in this conversation, they're a business. They got to bring in new eyes. They got to pull people back in that were kind of taken out after WrestleMania season. It makes sense, right? So I hear that.
Yeah,
and
to me also, like, the logic is just well, I mean, again, like, you could kind of see the writing on the wall. Like, I mean, there was talk to him being at SmackDown, right? Like, he does pull up a lot in October. Like, there is like that random Rock appearance that you get in October. He did it for SmackDown 2 or 3 years ago. He did it when SmackDown went on Fox. He did it many years ago when he pulled up on Rusev. Like, there's many moments of Rock kind of pulling up in October. So and again, like, just for me, like, looking at the story, looking at knowing where we're going, it's like he's either pulling up now, he was going to pull up 2 weeks ago, or he's going to pull up at Survivor Series. Like, that's the answer. So we're in that time frame where it was like Rock is around. We know Rock's around. So it's not really, it's just when for me. And like, they could have said he was in Georgia and did all that and then not brought him out. I would have been like, cool, it's still the move. That's where we're going.
Right. I do want to talk about
really
where we
me.
go in the future, but I do want to talk about the match first. So before we talk about where we go, before we expand on that, let's just talk the match first.
Let's do the main event first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But Yusuf, do you have any? I know you had your mic up. Do you have thoughts?
I mean, just last thought, not in regards to the whole thing, but more so, you know, you said you wish you hadn't seen the whole thing regarding like Pat and talking about The Rock. Again, right? They're a business and they're trying to draw in fans, and it's hard to avoid news like that when there's such a huge conglomerate that has avenues literally everywhere now for anything, right? Whether they posted on their Twitter that, oh, The Rock is at a high school doing an appearance, or, you know, with Pat McAfee, it's one of the biggest shows on ESPN. It's hard to avoid that, especially in sports media. And even when he's talking about wrestling, people are still watching.
And people that aren't even wrestling fans, that are just fans of movies and fans of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the actor, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's a celebrity, you know? So people see that and they're like, damn, like, that's crazy. And honestly, as much as it's a double-edged sword, because I was a little sad that it spoiled the surprise a little bit, but I gotta say, it also did get me a little more excited for the show. The prospect of The Rock coming back did drum up my interest, and I'm sure it did for a lot of other people too, you know, given the fact that I've already been invested, you know? But let's talk about the match itself. So, yeah, hook, line, and sinker, for real.
Yep.
But let's talk about the match itself. So I'd say that the match itself was fine. It wasn't incredible. It was more about the story, which is par for the course with any Bloodline match. You know, I will say, I said it to Emil on the phone on his drive, but I did find it very bizarre for Roman to be very friendly and acting like the guy wanting the hot tag, like, oh Cody, tag me in, Cody, I'm ready, tag me in. They want to see me wrestle, tag me in. Like, that's just, I didn't feel like that was Roman. But again, we haven't seen this side of Roman's character. So, you know, this is just where the direction that Roman's going. I just found it very odd to see Roman playing by those rules and being the guy on the outside, being the hot tag, like, oh, Cody, tag me in, please. You know, I thought that was weird.
For reference, I would also say par for the course for Cody's story over wrestling. Like, Cody can wrestle, but no one's putting him in that category with Will Ospreay as a wrestler. No one's doing that. But that's a separate conversation entirely.
Yeah, that's a whole.
No, that's fair though. That's fair.
But yeah. I saw that take on some Cody thing where I was like, oh yeah, I actually kind of agree with that. Anyway, the point being though is slow, deliberate storytelling. Cody kind of sacrificing himself so that Roman could do all the rest is, you know, makes a lot of sense for Cody. I'll be honest, I actually didn't like. I was like in and out. I was watching it at a gig, so I was on silent. So I was watching it the best I could. The only thing I didn't like that I noticed was Roman with dumb babyface energy, attacking the heel group, turning his back completely on the guy in the ring like that. And we see this time and time again, and I can't stand it. It's just dumb babyface energy that we don't need, and we certainly don't need from Roman, and we certainly don't need from Roman in this capacity because this is his group.
I was gonna say the biggest thing that made me mad about it was that Roman was the guy on the other side of that scenario in the past, where this is
his group. It's not even like just like 2 years later or what.
Yeah, like they're doing the bloodline thing
bro.
that Roman
like,
started.
This is your squad. Like there's no kind of anyway, but so like there's no reason for you
No, I get that. I think the only way you can justify that though is Roman being like the, typical babyface in a tag match like that where he's going to the outside and tackling everyone else. The only way you can justify that, I feel, is that Roman knows exactly what they're going to do because again, that is his group, right? Yeah, sure, it's the cliche babyface thing to do in a tag match where you go outside, you take out everyone else. In this case, there's a little more of a reason, if you will. Because for Roman, it's like, oh yeah, we're not just going against any heel tag team. We're going against a heel tag team that is part of a faction that I created. That I did this stuff not 6 months ago, 7 months ago, right? It's like I know this like the inside out. I know what they're gonna do. I know what they're gonna try. So I'm gonna go fuck them up first. Then I'm gonna focus on whoever's in the ring because you know some would do the same to me when I was on the other side. I would have the Usos attack or solo. I would have someone come in, right? I get it. So it makes sense why Roman did that. Him wanting the hot tag is the funniest shit in the world. I don't know why. It just like every any other time Roman's just sitting there, just waiting by the ropes. He's got his hand out like you will tag me in. I am the tribal chief.
Yeah, he's
But
usually so dismissive, right?
yeah, he's incredibly dismissive about it. He'll have his hand out like he's not saying anything. He's like, "You will tag me in. You fucking better. I am your tribal chief." With Cody, it's just like, come on, come on. It's kind of like you ever see like in like old cartoons when you're like trying to hold back someone. They're like, "Let me at him, let me at him, let me at it." It's got that energy. It was so funny. I don't know why, but no, match was fine. Paced is the word I like to use. Maybe not slow, but it was definitely paced to a point where I'm just like, okay, it's
It's
a
par
tag
for the
match.
course for the
It is
bloodline
par for the
stuff.
course, right? Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's just Roman works really slow. That's just how he is. It kind of goes with his character. I think he's still trying to figure out his babyface, iteration of his character. I think he's still
Yeah.
trying new things. It's very obvious. I think the way he does the one, like throwing up the one now, was different. Like he would do it in a more, I don't know, I was gonna say bombastic way, where he kind of like just like snaps the arm up, whereas before it was very slow, it was very plodding, it was like, but now it's like he was like, whoa, I was like, Jesus, okay, Roman, we're full of energy today.
I think part of that is with the Roman character of, with his heel run, he would throw the one up and he takes his sweet time because he knows I am the bad guy and y'all know that. So I can take my sweet time just throwing this up. Y'all are gonna hate it. I don't give a shit. Now it's like, okay, throw it up, get the crowd hyped up, just feed off that energy as like babyface Roman and just like really get them working. Cause like it doesn't, throwing the one up slowly, especially like if he's going for like a Superman punch or something, it doesn't have the same effect when he's a babyface because the crowd just wants like go 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 go. We want babyface Roman go, punch, do whatever, right? So if he, threw it up slowly, you're like, whatever, right? It's like, okay, for example, with the way we've talked about this before, with how like wrestlers will pander to a crowd, and I think the best example I can think of for this, weirdly enough, is Adam Cole. Adam Cole is a babyface. That Adam Cole baby, it's almost immediate. Like he kind of lets it like simmer for a sec, and then he hits it. As a heel, oh, he just lets it simmer because he knows people are gonna boo him. But when he throws that up, he knows people are gonna scream anyways, right? So he can take all the sweet time he wants, and I feel like the same thing goes along with Roman Reigns now.
Yeah, I very much agree. But I will say there's one contradictory point about it, and that is that fucking theme, man. That theme is so long.
So long.
So long, bro.
Also, can we talk about the production fuck ups during the show?
Bro, which one?
There were like three major ones, yeah. Or
There's
two,
multiple.
maybe? Well, I didn't even realize that they played Cody's theme twice. Because I heard it and I'm like, why am I hearing this again?
Oh, well, because they had the what's it called? They had the marching band play Cody's theme first, and then like as like an intro, and then they had Cody come out to like the actual entrance.
Was that why?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
because
so.
I was like, what the hell? Okay.
Emil said he heard John Cena's music out of that. You're muted, bro.
He is muted. This man.
I heard ba ba ba, and so I was like, "Wait, what the fuck is going on right now?" I was like, "What?" I was
Psych,
actually a
it's
handicap
fucking
match.
Cody Rhodes.
Yep. And then I know there was the issue at the end of the match when or like after the match was done where they hit Rock's Tron before
Yeah.
his music hit, and I'm like, oh,
Yep.
that's awkward.
It was, but I think it kind of hit because it almost like it negated the crowd taking that second to process what was happening in the moment.
I
They had that
guess.
visual cue first, so when the music hit, I felt like it was less of a delay. Which
It was
I
like
agree.
half a second though.
Yeah,
it was.
not
It
like-
was.
I noticed that too, but I was like, that's really. I was
That's-
like,
that's
they
like-
would think.
That's like
I
the
didn't
least
even
of
really
it.
pick up on that. Yeah.
But the match itself was fine, I think. Again, I can't recall any good moments from a Solo. Like, Solo's doing good work. It's just like I can't pick out specific like moments of like, oh yeah, that was a good Solo moment. You know, it's always like, oh, you know, Solo plays a good heel, but he's not the main character in the
Solo
in the story.
Solo Sokoa is maybe my least memorable heel of the last 5 years, and there were a lot in the last 5 years. It's just, you know, he does good work in the ring. He's great, right? He does his job. He plays the heel well. He's been getting a lot of heat. We've seen this year, especially, right? It just, you know, there's moments in matches with top heels that you can always remember. Oh, this happened, or this happened, this happened. With Roman, we can think of a lot. Like, there's probably a lot of great moments from his title run that we could think of. Maybe not off the top of our heads, but we could think of, right? So far with Solo, it's just all I can think of is something he didn't even do in the ring. It was just like when we went to Money in the Bank, right? Just the "fuck you" Solo chants, loud, obnoxious, crazy. In
He gets a
Toronto.
good reaction.
He gets a great
does.
reaction.
Does he still
but
get that reaction though?
Yeah, they were saying "fuck you, Solo" last night.
Yeah, they were. He still gets the reaction, but how much of Solo, not as a character but as a wrestler, warrants that? It's mainly Solo the character, not Solo the wrestler. And that's not to say
Yeah.
he's a bad worker. He's a good worker. It's just there's nothing about his character work in the ring that makes me scream, "Man, I fucking hate that guy."
Yeah, I will say
I'm
his
not
match with
intrigued.
the cage match
Yeah.
with Cody was his best match. Period.
Yes.
Full stop.
Period.
But that being said, I don't. I think that was still a better performance than this tag match for him. I think that the match overall was better because of the story implication. But as a match itself, I think the cage match was a better match. Fatu, once again, MVP, star of the show. All the aura that this bloodline has is because of Jacob Fatu. It was cool to see glimpses of Roman Jacob and Cody Jacob. I think that was very, very nice. Even though we've seen, you know, more of Cody Jacob because we've had mixed like tag matches and stuff with them in the past. The Roman Jacob especially was very, very cool. And the match ended with the return of Jimmy Uso, which the reaction was a lot better than I thought was going to play out.
We finally
30 minutes in.
30 minutes and we got
remember
Jimmy
that.
Uso.
I found a
Jimmy
video.
Uso
I found a
is
video
here.
from someone at ringside, of someone at ringside's point of view of it, and Jimmy literally was under the ring and like crawled out. Like it was like the video you could see him like on the floor getting up. It was so silly, but it was so interesting for how long they had him standing there and nobody noticed what was going on. Nobody noticed that was Jimmy for at least a good 30 seconds until because I think Solo had like a rest hold or something locked in on somebody, and then he looks up and he's
something
like,
like
"Oh fuck, it's you," and then he takes off the hoodie, he takes off the bandana, and it's Jimmy Uso, and he rolls in. First off, he super kicks the
Well,
Tongans.
he
he rolls
the
in the
Tongans,
ring.
and then that's when
Yeah.
Solo looks around. He's like, "The fuck happened to?" Uh-oh.
Yep. And then he
You
eats a
again.
spear, and then 1, 2, 3, Roman gets the win over Solo. Which the one thing I will say, I was intrigued by this. Roman got his pinfall victory over Solo, so technically Roman should have won back the Ulafala
Not
and
in
been the
singles competition.
okay, valid.
Not in
But
singles
Also
competition.
unacknowledged, so we don't talk about it. But it's alright.
However-
Solo just keeps eating pins because Jacob Fatu can't.
However,
Exactly.
though, there were moments where Roman was trying to get the Ulafala back outside of the sanctioned rules of a match. So, which is it? Do we want to have the role of tribal chief actually determined in a match, or do we want to just Roman takes it because like do we want to recognize it's once again it kind of goes back to the argument that we brought up with the fallacy or the irony plot hole with the Cody Roman cinematic thing in the football field. Are we acknowledging that Solo is the tribal chief, or are we acknowledging that he's just a wannabe stand-in? Because if he's just a wannabe stand-in, Roman should be able to just take it back, right?
My thinking in that regard harks back to How many times have they done this match? I can't remember. Anyway, but my point being, the idea right now is that Solo has kind of commandeered the title of tribal chief. He's just taking it, right? Like Roman was gone, and Solo was like, right. That's all
Audio
it was.
listeners just missed cinematic
Yes.
excellence right there.
Thank you. My Oscar will be in the mail. So the idea is that Solo has just commandeered the name and the moniker of tribal chief. If we want to be specific about how it moves around, then we have to go to the whole, like, the tribal combat matches that Roman's had. And specifically, I believe it was the one match he had with Jay where the title of tribal chief was on the line, or did they do
Yeah,
it
that was the SummerSlam, right? When Jimmy came back and sided with Roman again, screwed over Jay.
Yeah. Was that they've only done that once, right?
I think that was SummerSlam 22 or 23.
Something like that. 23, right? Was 22
23.
Brock? Was that it?
22 was Brock, yes.
22 was Brock with the tractor? Yeah. Oh, God. So my point being is, like, there's an actual idea that helps move around the moniker of tribal chief. It's just that obviously Solo never pinned Roman in a tribal combat match or whatever the fuck you want to call it at this point. Bloodline rules, tribal rules.
Bloodline rules. What you gonna do now, boy?
Oh boy. Yeah, like Solo's never pinned Roman for that, right? He just took the title. Now for Roman, it's like, yeah, he pinned Solo in this tag match, but obviously that's not going to automatically mean Roman is once again tribal chief. I think they're going to play into this where eventually they will have a singles match, Roman and Solo, for the moniker of tribal chief. That will probably happen. When could that happen? Shit. Because the next major pay-per-view is...
Never. Solo's got to stop eating these pins, man.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, and I think that might be a good opportunity to pivot to my next question, which is where we go from here with everybody involved. That could involve if you have ideas for everybody, cool, but like any specifics.
In the voice of William Regal, War Games.
Well, yes, but I think this is where
Nick Aldis has been warming up for weeks for that. By the way, he has.
Oh, he's been waiting in the back. He's been waiting backstage. He's like, come on.
No, he has a friend. He can say, I have a friend who wants to tell you what match you're in.
I have a friend who has a friend who knows this guy who knows this guy who knows this guy's cousin.
I know a guy.
Yeah,
you can help with this situation.
I think this is where we properly begin the Roman Reigns apology tour, because seeing how him and Jimmy embraced, they looked at each other for a bit. You can kind of tell, like, when I saw that happen, I'm like, is Jimmy gonna super kick him?
Yo, the aura of that embrace, though. There was not a single second I was like, Jimmy's super kicking him personally. Right. I was like, Jimmy's here to save him.
I was like, okay, and then they hugged, and I'm like, oh, that's good. I think this is, and like the embrace, it was there for a little bit, and like the way they're both like shaking their heads, like essentially saying like I'm sorry to each other. I'm like, good. This is where we start the Roman Reigns apology tour. Now, how do we get Jey Uso involved?
And it doesn't even really need to be like an apology tour, right? It doesn't need to be like door to door. My bad. Like it doesn't. Yeah,
there was no boombox outside of Cody's window in the rain.
Yeah, like like a Taylor Swift music video.
For me, like watching Roman and Jimmy, I was like, that's like true male friendship. And I mean, they're obviously related, but like I'm like, that's true male friendship. It's you pull up after a while, you just go, you hug it out, and it's kind of over. Like that is really how male friendship works. So
and not only that, they're cousins too. They're family.
Yeah, they're family. Right?
And family is a big part of the Anoa'i dynasty. It's part of the bloodline.
So it really can be that simple. With Jay, it obviously is not quite as simple, and it's going to be a little layered. If we're doing that, that all depends, of course, on Monday, depending on how we decide to move around these titles or not move around these titles. Because both him and Sammy are in matches, which we aren't going to talk about on this episode.
It's also like
matches.
It's also a big thing because it's to me, I feel like it definitely has to involve Roman and Jimmy, but. And I personally, want, and I've been saying this for a while, what I want is the OG bloodline. It's obviously going to be Solo and his bloodline, right? So that's, we know that, right? But there's a variable of who the face team is going to be. Is it going to be Roman's bloodline, like the OG, Roman, Jimmy, Jay, Sammy? Will it be an amalgamation, or will it be like Roman, Cody? And for a while, I thought they were going to do Roman, Cody, KO, and Randy, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that as well.
God.
Thank God. But here's the
God,
thing.
going
Here's
there.
the thing. When Rock came out and returned, there was one thing that he did that everyone's talking about. So he comes out, music stops for a minute, and it's just him staring a hole through Cody, Roman, and Jimmy all together in the ring. And Rock Rock holds up one finger, which, by the way, it was the backwards one that he did when they did the whole acknowledging Roman as tribal chief. He went 1, 2, 3, and he did like a little bow. And then as he turned to walk away, did the throat slash. So to me, that signifies you three, 1, 2, 3 of you, you're done. So
well, we already know Cody's in his sights. Roman's now in his sights for not only losing but then teaming. That's the
so that is the
thought.
question is
and what did
who
Jimmy...
is well, here's where I think it's going.
No yeet.
No yeet.
Here's where I think it's going. I think Rock, for right now, targets all three. I think that he's saying he's targeting all three, and I'll tell you why. I think that the biggest thing, who was Rock last beefing with when he left? It was Cody.
I just said this.
Yeah. Let me finish my point. Let me cook.
My fault.
Let me cook.
Go ahead, cook.
So, thank you. So, I think that I obviously he's mad at the fact that Roman and Jimmy are all of a sudden buddies with Cody now, right? After everything that the Cody did to the family. Because to the Rock, family is everything, right? To the Bloodline, family is everything. He's pissed because at the very heart of the issue, it started with Cody talking about their grandfather not being proud of their actions. And so now that Roman and Jimmy are like, letting bygones be bygones, standing side by side with Cody, Rock takes that personally. As somebody who takes their family personally. He's in my opinion, I think he's going to be going after them because he feels that he needs to defend the family's honor because they aren't. Because by being associated with Cody, they are, I don't know, I don't have the word for it right now, but they are negating the family and how the family should be defended in that situation against someone like Cody. So I think that in the short term, it's War Games. I think that Rock is just going to... I don't think Rock's going to get involved. That's another variable I think that was possible, is will Rock get involved? I don't think he's going to get involved. I think what Rock's going to do is say, I think Solo should be the tribal chief. I think Solo has been the one that's carrying the mantle of this family. I think Solo is the one that deserves the mantle. So I fully put my support behind them, and they are coming after you in War Games on behalf of me. Because I know Solo and Jacob and crew will get it done. Which is something you couldn't do, Roman, is get the job done.
But okay, wait a minute. Stop
I was done.
Everything.
I was finished.
First off, when I went no yeet and I still did the yeet thing, you got to do it in reverse. No yeet.
Okay,
No yeet.
I'm not behind this train.
All right, let me cook though. Rock definitely has no faith in this new bloodline. There's no way Rock has any faith in this new bloodline. There's no way. If Rock is watching the product, right, because he says, I'm sick of this bullshit that's going on for the last 6 months. The bullshit being, like he has them three in his sights. Sure, yeah, that's obvious. What's frustrating to me is, there's no way Rock's going to come out and cut a promo saying that I believe that these guys can beat the old bloodline. There's no way, because they've already proven that they cannot. We've already proven that we cannot. Solo has eaten 70 pins in the last 7 weeks. There's
fair point.
There's no way Rock's saying that.
Fair point.
Why I think so? Here's why I think to further this point is why Rock's going to be in the match, because he says I have to do this shit myself. Fuck it, I'm Thanos. I got to go do it myself. Because there is no way that this bloodline can do it, right? And if we're going with War Games, right? War Games. It's 5-on-5, right? I see 4 over there. Come on, Rocky. Come on, you're gonna do it.
They've been doing 4v4 though in the past.
They have been doing 4v4 for a while.
I don't care. Come on, Rock. It's 5v5.
Judgment Day was 4v4. The Judgment Day, Cody, Sammy.
It's 5v5. It's 5v5.
But I will say this as well, real quick, and Yusuf, I will bring you in. I promise.
Sure.
You've swayed my decision, Emil, because now where I think it's going is Rock actually is not going to be involved in War Games at all. And I think this was Rock just coming out and saying, listen, it's not today, it's not War Games, it's not in the future, but you three are done. I'm done with this shit. I just wanted to come out, and Rock just wanted to come out to reiterate the fact that I'm still here, and I'm still lingering, and I'm still waiting for my moment. And I think Rock will come back Where I think it goes with Rock now, and I forgot to even mention this in the previous point, I think Cody versus Rock will close Raw on Netflix, Raw Day 1 on Netflix. And I think The Rock very well could beat Cody for the title. And then I think we get Rock versus Roman for the title at Mania. You can shake your head no, but that's a valid direction in where they go.
So then what do you do with your number one babyface?
So what do you
Anything
do with
else?
your number one babyface? So he's going to be in no
So
time.
Roman? Because that's
what
the
you're telling
argument.
me.
Now it's convenient. So you guys are going to say Cody's the number one babyface when
No,
you guys
I'm
have been
going by
saying
your logic.
Roman's the number one babyface?
I'm going by
We've
your
been
logic.
saying Cody's the number one babyface.
I've heard number one. I've heard 1A and 1B this entire pod.
There's a reason he's 1A. It's like backup goaltenders in the NHL.
We never defined it was 1A.
No.
Now we're defining it as Cody. This is so interesting.
No.
I love
Hold on.
this.
My argument here, right, is that you have to think of it. I think of it like hockey, right? In hockey, you have two goaltenders. You have your 1A normally and your 1B. The idea and why we don't call them a backup, or depending on like what team you're looking at, right, is because you have two guys that no matter who's in net can carry the team. They can do the job and they do the job well. Yes, Cody and Roman,
Austin
to
and
me
Rock.
personally, are your 1A, 1B.
Austin and Rock, Cena Orton.
It's a 1A, 1B. It's never 1-2.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
agreed.
It's
Agreed.
1A, 1B. Now, why I say Cody is the number one babyface, he is that 1A, right? He is, to the NHL, any fucking hockey fans that listen to this, right? He is your starting goaltender. He is your number one guy.
He's the guy to my ears. Keep it going.
He's the guy that when push comes to shove, when you have to go to the fucking playoffs, when things get like serious, Cody is your guy. I have never not said that Cody is not the guy. At the end of the day, yes, both of them are there. Since Roman has been gone, Cody has been your bona fide number one starter. Of course he fucking is, right? With Roman back, with the reaction he's got, everything like that, it makes sense that they are a 1A, 1B right now.
I don't think I ever disputed that Cody wasn't the number one babyface. I don't think I ever disputed that. I don't think I've ever sat here and said Cody
with the
isn't
Roman
the number
glaze.
one
I
babyface.
think it's there.
I was gonna say,
I think it's there.
No.
I think it's there.
Because even with all my Roman glazing, that was before WrestleMania, right? And this is obviously off pod. It's still Roman's the biggest heel in the company. Roman's the biggest heel in wrestling.
For sure.
And then I said, and what I then said was afterwards is, I mean, Roman's still part time, right? So that's number one, right? So Cody is your workhorse. Cody's, if you put it in basketball terms, Cody's almost like your sixth man. Or no, Cody's LeBron.
I was like, where the fuck are you going with this? Yeah, Cody's LeBron.
Cody's LeBron, right? And then who's the 1A with LeBron?
Right now it's
Davis.
What's his face? Yeah, Davis.
Oof.
Yeah.
Roman is Anthony Davis.
Keep cooking. Keep what you cooking over there?
No, I killed the vegetables.
Maybe,
I don't like
maybe,
that.
maybe not use.
Bro,
maybe
over caramelize the
Lakers.
onions over there.
Maybe not use
not the
Lakers era
Lakers.
LeBron. Maybe like Cavs era or like Heat era LeBron, where LeBron is your 1A
Chris
and you have
Bosh?
like.
Who cares?
This isn't a
Anyway,
sports podcast though, but
Yeah.
but for real though, what was the point of this whole conversation?
the 1A, 1B, Roman being
No,
the
but why did we get
number
here,
one
though?
babyface.
Before that?
We're talking
we were talking
about where I think it's going, and I think it could go to Rock Roman at Mania for the title.
So then, what do you do with Cody?
That's a
Nothing.
great
He's gone
question.
from everything.
That's a great question. You could have a triple threat if you wanted.
I
feel
I think if Cody loses, he has to disappear for a little bit.
I could get down for that, honestly.
I think-
but I don't know if they have
TBH,
Cody
if
miss
you-
Mania though. That's the
TBH,
only. That's
yeah.
from a business standpoint.
I don't even see him not being the champion walking into Mania. I truly don't.
I think
truly
Rock
don't
or
see
Roman
that.
are the only two people he could drop the title to, and I don't see Roman getting it back because I don't think they're gonna run.
I don't see Roman getting it back from Rock though. So you're telling me Rock's beating him?
Oh, I do. Yep.
I don't like that at all. That's a waste
I
of
could
all
see
of that
Roman
time.
getting it from Rock. Roman.
That's a waste of all of that time.
What
But
is
then-
what has Roman's goal been since he's been back? Like he's had all of this stuff, but at the end of the day, he's still looking at that
coming
title.
back his
still
goal is
coming
to come
for
back
that
for what's
title.
mine. He
Yes,
said what's
the title.
mine. So
The title.
So what's mine isn't just that though. He wants the Ula follow back, and he wants the title. So
But
you're right, but you're also
when he's looking at Cody, he's staring the whole through that title.
I know. He's looking at the title. I got it.
Yeah.
Not to
Look,
mention, I think
here's the
something
thing,
we
though.
can't. Well,
Here's the thing, though.
Let me
Can I
bring
get
this up
point
quickly,
off, though?
Timmy. Let me quickly bring this up. I'm sorry to derail you. At the end of that match, right, when Cody was in the corner and Roman and Jimmy are leaving, Roman did look at Cody and he's like, "I'll see you down the road," and just walked off. I'm like, "Oh yeah, he wants that fucking
Yes,
belt
he
back."
did. Yes, he
I
did.
want a trilogy personally.
I
would
want the
much,
trilogy,
I
yeah.
would much prefer the trilogy.
I do
and
not want 3 Cody Romans
Not
in a row. Do
It's
not.
not. Oh, I could be fine with that. I could be totally fine with that.
I could be, but I don't want it. I think that we could have other things we could be doing.
Because here's my thing. If we're gonna tell me that the man who just beat your biggest heel in the last 20 years, who had held the title for 4 of them, right, got this whole big thing at Mania at 40, to then lose it to The Rock, for The Rock to then go all the way to Mania, which means we have to take 4.5 months of a Rock title reign, which is kind of long.
It's not.
He's also not working full time.
It's not. In a Triple H era, it's not.
In a road to WrestleMania where there's no way he won't be present, it's fine.
That's too much time of him with a belt for me. I'm not.
I mean, that's valid. That's
totally
valid.
keen on that. And then to further this narrative, right? We're going into 41. We're going into Vegas. We're going into Allegiant Stadium to then just give Roman back the title that he just had for the last 1,316 days. I don't see that at all. That also just buries 40.
It doesn't bury 40.
It does. It gives me a big.
No.
It gives me big.
It also leaves the door open to say Cody could potentially win the title back from Roman, and that opens up the third match.
Oh no.
Because then you had Cody. I think that I would too, ideally, but I think there's a strong possibility.
I need to see Cody climb the mountain again.
I don't see The Rock going through this run without holding that title. I really don't.
I do.
I really don't. I see this being a new era for Rock, and like a crazy one at that. And
he's got his little belt.
Here's who Cody gets: Cena.
For what?
For why not? It's Cena's retirement tour, the biggest face of this era versus the biggest face of the previous era.
Nah, I'm cool.
I think you could see it, but
I'm cool.
To get back to how we actually got here, the original point was where we go from here. So I think where we go from here, there could be a wrench thrown in. There are multiple variables happening, because I do think that right now with Jimmy back, it really puts me thinking that we get Bloodline versus Bloodline. There's a possibility that Cody is involved, but what happened after the show went off the air is telling me Cody might be a little busy at Survivor Series to be dealing with Bloodline, which he also said he doesn't want to deal with anymore. And that is that Kevin Owens, there's video that went around on social media. By the way, WWE, do more of this. Make social media matter if you're going to do it. Go all out with it like you did with this, because Kevin Owens turned heel off screen on social media because people recorded a confrontation that happened outside of Cody's bus after Survivor Series where they're talking. You can't hear what's being said. They're talking, and then all of a sudden, KO just starts swinging on Cody, knocks him down, gets on top of him and is laying down punches on him, and then he ends up getting in his Lamborghini and driving away.
Love it.
I find it
cool.
Partly, yeah, I mean, good they did it. Also, it's interesting because not in 20 minutes prior, when they were doing the post-show presser, they were like, "Oh yeah, Cody can't make it. He's busy with something."
Yeah, and I was watching that, and I was like, why can't Cody make it? They advertised Cody, the winner of the tag match, to be on the presser, and then all of a sudden the only people left to go were the winner of the tag, which would have been Cody and Roman, and Triple H. And I was kind of intrigued to see how Cody and Roman would have behaved side by side in a press conference like that. But then they were like, "All right, Chief Content Officer Triple H," and I was like, "Okay, well, if Cody's not doing it, Roman's not doing it, so that makes sense. But why isn't Cody doing it?" And then that's why.
And
that was
cool
masterfully done.
It is masterfully done, and it's also great that they didn't have this occur during Triple H's presser. It's not like someone has to alert Triple H in the middle of his press conference, like, "Hey, like this just happened." He goes, "Go what? I gotta go."
I kind of wish that happened.
I kind of do too. But I find it interesting that they went the route of going completely off camera, not during the presser.
Loved it.
Like a backstage thing. Just, oh, the show's over, the presser's over, no one's paying attention right now. All right, hit it.
You thought it was over with The Rock coming back and cutting a promo on Instagram, which amounted to nothing. It was just him walking through the backstage area and saying The Rock is pissed that there's bullshit going on, which is referring to Cody, Roman, and Jimmy teaming. But anyway, yeah, it was masterfully done.
It's been going on for 6 months. It's been going on for maybe 6 minutes.
Yeah,
right.
It's okay. It's okay, Rob.
No, it's okay, Dwayne. It's okay.
Well, we don't know if that's what he's referring to. We don't know if that's what he's referring to.
That, I hope his bullshit is about
he
this
could
new
be
bloodline.
He could be referring to the bullshit of Roman not being able to come back and get the title back from Cody, and same with Solo, because the bottom line, the issue has always been Cody.
So there's something I did want to bring up, and I feel like well past, like we don't have to get into this now because we've already very much gotten into it. But the Rock doing the whole 1, 2, 3 thing. There's two interpretations that I've been seeing around right now. Interpretation number one is that 1, 2, 3 represents Jimmy, Roman, and Cody. Like, I'm coming after all three of you. The other one I saw recently, I think it was earlier today on Twitter, was he did that, looked over, did the throat slip because who does he have a pinfall victory over recently? Cody Rhodes. He's like, I pinned you once, I'll do it again. Because The Rock wants that title too, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So that was my thinking, is like the way he did it and the way he's like staring daggers at Cody. It's like he's not shooting that 1, 2, 3 because of the three of them in the ring. He's shooting the 1, 2, 3 because what does what does Cody have? Or sorry, what does The Rock have this year that Roman doesn't?
The People's Championship.
Well, that too. No one gives a shit about the People's Championship.
I can't believe he came out with that belt, but also
I kind of hate that he came out with that belt.
I think I like it now because it makes sense with his heel character, and I think that's why he's bringing it out all the time. It hurts his ego to not have a title, so he has to bring out his fake one. I love that.
He should just have a belt that says Board of Directors. Like, hey, just help yourself out, Rock. I don't know. Fuck off. But yeah, so maybe that was it. Anyway, can we are we done with the bloodline?
So an hour in, let's move on to the
again. By the
all right, let me do my job, fellas. Let me cook.
There's some other matches on this card. So let's act.
I got you. No. I'm taking Punk and Drew open the show.
That's what I was going to talk about next. Anyway, so
as if I couldn't do my job.
We are in sync. We actually do like talk. We are friends.
It's true. It's true.
And I'm here.
Punk and Drew, of course, had their Hell in a Cell, and this is the best Hell in a Cell match we've had since probably Undertaker Edge, if we want to really keep it a buck.
The argument's being made that it was the best of all time.
No.
There is an argument that is the greatest Hell in a Cell match of all time.
No. We're not doing that.
This man's got that 2008 glaze.
Everybody settled down.
That Undertaker Edge match is great.
I don't think Undertaker Edge is the best one, but like settle down.
It's a good match.
Everybody settled down. This was great. We're just not used to seeing this much violence in WWE. Everybody calm down. Like, relax. Like, for AEW, this is tame. For pro wrestling, this is normal. Like, everybody calm your ass down. This was very good, though. This was very good. The beat spot was great. The Claymore, the missed Claymore onto the steps looks like he literally broke his back.
That looked a great spot. Painful as fuck.
That's the first time I've cringed at a WWE spot in a long time. Like AEW needle spot level. Like,
yeah,
oof,
I mean,
that sucks.
The way Drew lands on those steps, man. Like, my lower back hurt watching that, and I'm like,
yeah, my back hurts. Punk. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think like there's a comment you had made a few weeks ago when we were talking about the Jon Moxley bag spot with Danielson when he was choking at the bag. You can gimmick a chair, you can gimmick a lot of things. You can't gimmick a bag. It's hard to gimmick a spot like that when you're landing back first on steps. Like, that's fucked.
You're trying to find out where they gimmicked it. I think there's probably a hole in the bag somewhere. That would be my guess.
Maybe, but still,
or the way they cinched it.
Yeah, but I mean, like with the steps, like with the spot, right?
It's like, there's not many ways.
No, there's no way. Like,
and what's fun for me about watching this match and watching some of this stuff specifically was I was watching this with a couple friends, and one of them specifically does not like wrestling. So it's very interesting to show spots like this where it's like, I mean, you're landing on your fucking back. You're not protected. You're just there. So it was very interesting to hear takes from somebody who doesn't get the world of pro wrestling. And then those kind of spots happen. So it's very interesting to see somebody watch it for that reason. Other spots in this match. There was a table spot. Punk was a little sloppy, but Punk has never been exactly the cleanest wrestler. I would argue even in some of my favorite matches of Punk, 2011 Money in the Bank, Raw in 2013 with Cena. He's never been the cleanest. He's been good, but he's never been clean. That's never been Punk. He's always been sloppy, and so it's fine. Punk did his job. Drew did his job. The crowd did their job. Everybody did their job here. This was what it should be. It can't be this hard. It doesn't need to be hard. This is it. This is what you want. Now save me a Hell in a Cell until 18 months from now.
the next year's Bad Blood.
I'm cool. I'm very
Sure.
cool for that.
Nah,
Sure.
I'm cool too. If the I'm with you. I think that this feud was perfect for Hell in a Cell, and I found it so interesting because both of them going in were like, out in interviews and stuff, were like, nah, fuck Hell in a Cell. I hate that match. I'm not doing it. But they hated each other so much that it just needed to get to that point. And I found that so interesting. And I found this match so interesting too, as on a personal level, because I feel like with my values as a wrestling fan, I should have fully been against the outcome of this match with Punk winning. I should have fully been like, listen, Punk's got it. He's already the made man. He's the established star. He deserves to. Drew deserves the win more than Punk. He needs the win more than Punk. But Punk's been talking about going after Gunther nonstop, and Punk has not had a definite. I mean, he hasn't had like that statement victory. He did win the one match against Drew, and I forget which one it was. It wasn't the. It was the strap match. So he won the strap match, but that's a strap match, right? It's like there's still. It's not a pinfall.
A good strap match, might I add.
It was fine. Strap matches aren't great. I'm not a fan, but
They're not. But it was actually not bad.
That's fair. It wasn't bad. I felt like the structure of the match, the rules in place hindered it more than the actual match itself. However, I thought that this was great. I thought that Punk needed the win more than Drew in this situation, which is wild to say, but I feel like Drew has just been on the top of his game, man. Like, he deserves so much after this. And I think that after this, unfortunately, he had to get 16 staples in his head after the toolbox spot where Punk was driving the toolbox into his head. He gashed him, like, for real, and that's why Drew was cut open so bad. He had to get 16 staples in his head. I'm assuming his back is banged up after that stair spot, and he is probably going to be out for a little while before he comes back. And I think that that's fine. I think even if Drew was, and even if Drew was fine and not injured, I think that it was fine if he did take the time to just, take the time away. He's worked so hard, and so has Punk. But I think now is the time for Punk to take the wheel and for Punk to be the active guy and go after Gunther for that world title.
So
I think it's poetic in a way. Sorry, Tim. I think it's poetic in a way that this feud started with Drew being like, I prayed for you to get injured, and I'm the one that took you out and put you on the shelf for so long. So it truly is poetic that at the end, it is Drew who is now on the shelf for however long he's going to be gone. He's not hurt, but like he's not injured, but you get the idea, right? Like it makes
as far
sense.
as we know, yeah. As far as we know, right?
So notice last Monday as Raw was closing, who came back. Notice as this past Saturday, who looks like they're about to take a break.
I'm back.
So as we move forward, and obviously Joker over there is going to deal with his little Bronson problem for a little bit. That'll probably take him through about Rumble.
Through about as long as Gunther, as Punk and Gunther takes.
Through about Rumble is where we're kind of looking at. The goal obviously is to bring these three all back together again. However, everybody needs a break from each other, so that means Drew's gonna go take a break, go hang out with his wife. Good for Drew, he's earned the break. CM Punk. Seth Rollins is right here right now. Seth Rollins just came back. Rollins is gonna go hang out with Bronson Reed for a little bit and kind of do that thing for a second, kind of get himself reindated again after coming back, after leaving, to then come back, to then leave again. Did we follow? Was I right?
The math is mathing.
He left, he came back, then he left again.
Yeah, he came back for the Damian match and then left again. Yeah.
The math is mathing.
He was the break glass move for Damian. They were like, well, we don't have anybody.
Yeah, he was the emergency option.
So that's what's going on there. One of those three men is winning the world title. One of those three men is winning the Royal Rumble. The other one is going to fight the other one, and then we're going to have a weird triple threat. And we know what we're doing here. So let's just keep it going.
I don't know who I want to carry the title. That being said, I agree with you.
Care.
I agree with you that is the direction. Personally, what I think would be more poetic is that Gunther retains over Punk, loses to Seth. And I don't know how we get there. Full transparency, but the reason why I think this story is more poetic is because I think that Punk should win the Royal Rumble.
That is personally how I feel. However, currently I don't see a way other than just saying, "Hey, Seth, go over there."
Right.
That's kind of the matchmaking booking I see right now.
That's kind of how Seth's been for the last little while now. Not even this year, just recently. It's been like, "Hey, Seth, what are you doing?" Nothing. Okay, go over there. Okay. Like the Cody feud, right? How that all started. Seth, you got anything going on for Mania? No? Okay, go stand in that corner. Why? Just do it.
Because we want Rock and Roman, so here's Cody. God knows why.
Unless they want to put Cody in this world title feud,
Let's not.
And that just makes things way
Let's
too
not.
complicated.
Let's not.
If we want to follow the Tyler logic of Rock possibly winning a belt, which nobody wants.
Well, I don't know what Cody would do, to be honest. If he's not the champion or involved in the title feud. Potentially, Rock and Roman is non-title, and Cody is defending against somebody, and I'd be fine with that too.
We don't
Gunther.
need Cody losing because
Just
we
switch Gunther
need
over.
another. Yeah,
Gunther doesn't need to stay on Raw for Netflix. Put him on SmackDown.
Exactly.
No,
The thing is, we don't need another Cody adversity long-term story after we went through a whole year of this for him to win the title. And then if he loses it, it's going to go back to the adversity. I must win back the... fuck, we've been through this before.
Yeah.
My
father
Cool.
is the American dream, Dusty Rhodes. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry.
The other interesting part of this match, of course, is the ending. As they're both walking out, Punk with the oxygen tank. Nice little MJF shout out. I always
MJF,
appreciate
how you
a good
doing?
Hi MJF.
How you doing? Hi guys.
I really appreciated the MJF. Just the MJF nudge. It was That was definitely
a move.
That was definitely nudge,
Yeah.
wink, wink.
1,000%.
I loved
1,000%.
it. I loved it. So that was cooking. Dave Meltzer won't give it 5 stars, and that is criminal.
Yeah,
But
my
that's
prediction
okay.
now is that it's a 4.75 because that's the highest he goes with any 5-star WWE match. It feels
that's
like.
the real question. When we don't do star ratings here, it's not a thing. We don't love it. It's not we don't really agree with the concept. It's too subjective. But what we do, or what we can do, is what's the Dave Meltzer? What's the Dave Meltzer rating? 5.75 or 4.75?
4.75, easy.
4.75.
Easy.
Dave
4.75.
just won't give it a 5.
No indie darlings in that besides Punk, obviously. I mean,
Wait,
Drew's
Punk and Drew
been
are both indie darlings.
Drew is like, well, different
Drew's kind of an indie darling. Drew's
kind of not.
indie darling.
He is, but he's not.
He is now.
Yeah,
He is now.
Yeah.
So,
but he's not like the current. They're not. Neither of them are current indie darlings, I should say.
No,
they're company men at this point.
Exactly.
To keep the show rolling. Oh,
I'm gonna say 4.5.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
could see 4.5 too.
I could see
I
4.5.
could
I think
I could even see a
4.75 might be
4.25.
like a little too much for
4.25
Dave.
could be a thing.
4.25, yeah, you never know. I think 4.5 is like the realistic one. 4.75 would be fine.
That's the fuck you option.
It is the fuck
I could
you.
see a 4.25. I really could see a 4.25 because again, Punk is sloppy.
I could see him saying that the hardcore stuff was unnecessary for God knows what reason.
Fucking ridiculous if you look at the scores
Yeah.
for Blood and Guts.
Yeah, for sure.
So don't even start with me.
For sure.
Dave.
But yeah, I hear you.
moving-
I hear you. Yeah, let's get
Moving forward from the 2 matches that could have been the main events or the openers after an hour or so, there is some other things that happened on this show. Nia Jax had a match. It was indeed a match.
It was sloppy as all hell.
It was a match.
It was sloppy. There were multiple spots that were botched, and I don't like to knock wrestlers. I still don't think it's a warranting anybody getting reprimanded or facing consequences or losing a push or anything, but like let's remember that we are wrestlers, that we are high caliber wrestlers, and that things should probably be cleaner.
We're the best wrestle.
Yo,
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
shut up.
I'm on a roll today.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You needed to clean your glasses for that match because you thought it was your glasses messing up the spots?
Yes, actually,
But-
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Nia defeats Bailey. Tiffany almost cashed in. There was a spot where the ref got knocked down in a spot where where Bailey and Nia were kind of going at it, and the ref got caught in the middle. The ref got taken out.
So why did he get caught in the middle though? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. When
It
you
was actually
explained it, 'cause
Jessica
I
Carr.
kind of missed it. So why did Jessica Carr get? How?
I don't know,
Was-
because
were they,
that was the plan.
Legally fighting in the ring normally?
They were, yeah, they
And
were.
she was trying to
It was
split
just
them?
fighting in the ring. No. It was just like she happened to
Or
be
they
standing.
bumped her?
Because the ref's job is to purposefully get out of the altercation, right? If
Yeah,
they see it.
purposefully. Yeah.
So, but at the time, I don't know how it happened, but she was trying to move out of the way, but she just didn't move out of the way in time. It was clear that was the plan.
And then she died.
And then, not necessarily, she got up pretty quick, but it was just enough time for her to get knocked down, for Tiffany to run out, music and all, and go to cash in. But then, right when she was about to, so first off, they both looked like they were out for the count, Nia and Bailey. Tiffany finally runs in the ring. She has her case. She goes to hand it to the ref. It was the visual of the moment that she reaches out, like holds it out to the ref, and the ref grabs it. Nia sits up like fucking Undertaker. And it's just like, you what? What are you doing? And Tiffany's like, it's not what it looks like, but she's literally like handing the cookie jar, like handing the ref the case. And she's like, I'm trying to help you. You were not doing well. And Nia got pissed, and Bailey ends up running up and, knocking Tiffany out of the ring and knocking the case out of the ring and breaks the case, the strap on it, I think, or at least gets it unclasped. Nia ends up getting the advantage off that distraction, wins over Bailey. So now we have this feud coming out of the show of like Nia knows that Tiffany was gonna try and cash in. She kind of like was getting suspicious, but the story now is like there's growing suspicions of Tiffany cashing in on Nia, and Nia having one eye looking over her shoulder for Tiffany while they're also best friends. And now they have to continue this dynamic while knowing that Tiffany was trying to actively screw Nia. So I'm intrigued now. I'm intrigued.
I am, but I'm not.
There was also rampant speculation that Tiffany was going to cash in. That's fair.
I mean, I always like when heels fuck with heels. It's just fun. It's enjoyable.
It's also fun
because it's two assholes being assholes to each other.
Exactly. It's also fun with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
So it's fun.
Yeah, like the briefcase is involved and like they're friends and you're like, oh my God, they're never gonna. No, like we've said this for months now. Tiffany's gonna cash in at some point, right? Maybe she won't. Maybe she will. Who knows? But
it's all cute moves.
It is all cute moves that will eventually lead to something. Maybe this brings like turmoil between Nia and Tiffany. We might see that happen on SmackDown. The match was, it was definitely a wrestling match that had a bell ring to start it and a bell ring to end it. And
they hit various moves.
Well, did they hit all of them though?
They hit them, but did they hit them well
some.
Is a different question.
No, that's her.
All right, here, let's talk about the drizzling shits of this show for a little bit. Let's talk about Damien and Finn. I didn't watch it, but obviously your winner is Damien. The real question is, where does the story go from here? If we want the real answer is War Games. If we want the fake answer, I need a button.
No.
And then the other answer,
we don't have a soundboard in the production budget yet.
The other answer is nothing because the schmucks suck.
Oh, I was gonna say the opposite. I think the real answer is nothing because that was the end of the story.
Yeah.
And the fake answer is War Games because War Games doesn't make sense.
So I think the answer moving forward
was the match
is nothing.
Though I missed this match.
It was fine. It wasn't nothing to scream home about.
It could have been a Raw main event if you had a choice of taking one of these matches off the card and putting in something else. I personally would have taken this match off and put in Game 7 of Andrade and Mello.
Or Gunther Sammy, but yeah.
Or Gunther Sammy.
Yeah.
Or
but,
Jay.
So my whole thing is...
Jay, I forgot to even bring up... I'm so sorry, Yusuf, I just cut you off again.
Sure,
but I had to bring up... Jey Uso was literally in the Legend skybox that they had. So why wasn't Jay ready to run down there and help Jimmy and Cody and Roman?
We're not there yet. Be patient.
Oh, yeah, did I say Jimmy? I meant Jay.
Let them cook. Let them cook.
Oh, I'm letting them cook. I'm just so surprised they didn't cut to Jay in that moment or anything.
I'm sure,
he left by that moment.
He was too drunk by that point. They said
he just happened to not be in the building.
He got drunk.
He did his ass out of there.
He this wasn't his work day, so he got too drunk before they could actually pull these segments.
He had the Wheatley American vodka.
So
that's in Cody Rhodes' spot.
So good, he'll drink it neatly. Do you feel him, sir?
God, I love that presser. The thing with the Judgment Day hoopla, if you will, I don't know why I use that word. Anyway, Damian Priest said after the show, I can't remember where he said it, but Wrestle Talk had the scoop on it, that the Terror Twins are pretty much like done now. He's like, Rhea and I teamed up together because when the Judgment Day was formed, it was a bunch of misfits that wanted to come together to give we get a chance at being big. We got big, and then it got a little too big, and now everything fell apart, at least for us. But we're done with that now. He's like, this is a new chapter in our lives where we're done hunting down those that betrayed us. At least I'm done. I don't know about Rhea. But for me, I'm just moving forward from here. Meaning that this feud with Finn is over. What does he do after? Who the fuck knows?
He's teased and kind of said that he wants to go back after the world title. So we could run back Gunther Damian, which I'm kind of down for.
I would honestly like
okay with that.
I kind of really want Damian to get another shot at the title.
That'd be a nice little Saturday night's main event move.
I was gonna say,
there you go.
looking at like the shows we have coming up, I could definitely see that because it's Survivor Series, it's Saturday night's main event, it's Raw debut on Netflix, and then we're on road to WrestleMania season.
So as told by Bleacher Report, the next the next item on the agenda for this show, where they give winners and losers. The loser of this next match wasn't a match; it was a segment, and somehow the loser of this segment is Sami Zayn. So here's what happened though. Triple H comes out, right? Triple H. So there were a few rumors talking about something big happening, big announcements.
Cody teased it on past show as well.
Blah blah blah. Right. So we get to this point of Triple H having his big announcement, and Triple H then goes, "We're gonna have the champions fight each other in Saudi. So we're gonna have our world champion Gunther versus our WWE champion Cody. We're gonna have our world champion Liv versus our WWE champion Nia." That's a bunch of snooze, right? If you're still awake with me here, let's continue this announcement. No,
the
not
prospect
yet. Not yet.
Well, don't ask questions, or I'll answer.
The question asked was, are you asleep yet?
I'm fully playing.
So Triple H unveils this really shitty belt that is designed for Saudi. That is apparently the Saudi championship or the
Crown Jewel
I'm the
championship.
Crown Jewel champion or the something. It sounds like a bunch of nonsense.
So he built this as a yearly event too. So this is going to be a thing. Like this is like a Royal Rumble, a Money in the Bank,
a
Crown Jewel. I agree.
I could hard pass.
I agree.
But also, like, I'm not a fan of Saudi, so like.
Agreed.
I get it though, but we have to make these Saudi shows important because the Saudi government is paying too much money for them to just send bullshit, I guess.
We need Triple H to recreate that Vince gif of sniffing dollar bills because we can't be using the Vince one anymore.
Which is weird considering that they were fine with bullshit before. Now they can't just take good stuff and we can't just treat it like a normal PLE like we did last year. It was just a normal show
this year
last
even, or this year, or this year even they had
King of the Ring. It was normal.
Yeah, King of the Ring last year was they had the world title being crowned. I thought that people thought going into this that the title that was under the thank you. The title that was put under obviously it was the Crown Jewel title, which personally I don't think it's that ugly. It kind of looks like
it actually looks like an AEW belt.
I was literally about to say it because it has
really
the more vertical.
AEW,
it has the vertical plates rather than the horizontal oriented plate. You know,
I was like, this looks like the Continental belt.
I kind of got the international title
the
vibe.
International belt,
yeah.
More of the international. I don't
anyway,
know.
long story less long. This is dumb as fuck.
It's
Why
too
can't
big
we
of a
just have
belt.
a normal show.
The internet thought it was going to be the
huge.
women's mid-card title, which I thought would have been a better option to bring in a women's
but
mid-card belt.
We can't just have a normal show that just happens to be in Saudi. Like, why?
I gotta say, I actually prefer
Why's it gotta be a gimmick?
I prefer like loosely canon Saudi shows compared to full canon Saudi shows because if I don't want to watch it for reasons, then I have the option and I won't feel super.
Are you telling me
Here's the thing,
you were
though.
not?
If
Hold
you
on,
don't wanna
no.
watch it
Are you
for
telling me?
reasons- Hold on, because I want
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you don't want to watch it for reasons, right, but you're already paying for Peacock. You already paid. Sorry, they already got your money. So that's dumb to me.
Well, it's more so. It's not. It's more so if they see that they don't have high numbers for it, then they will be less inclined to re-sign the deal.
Well, that deal, they just signed a new
But
one,
the deal is dumb money. So I mean,
it is big dumb money.
But it's also more so the principle of the matter. I mean, I personally still watch the shows. I watched Night of Champions. I watched Crown Jewel. I watched what the other ones, Super Showdowns, all those King of the Ring. Yeah, well, the Super Showdowns as well they had one in Saudi as well, I believe. Greatest Royal Rumbles. You know, I didn't watch that one, luckily. But
I was about to say, if you're talking about loosely canon shows and like watching non-loose canon shows, you telling me you didn't like the Greatest Royal Rumble, the most non-canon thing they've ever done?
Yeah, nah. But to answer Emil's question, that I think I feel like he posed a question that he because you asked about being asleep, but I think you also asked if it matters, or if we're intrigued by it, or if we're rolling was actually what you asked, I think. But I think you forgot you asked it. I'm rolling only with Gunther and Cody. I'm actually rolling with both matches without the title implication. I'm rolling with Gunther and Cody big time. Do I think that it lessens the weight of it because it's for a title that we're not going to see ever again? Yes. Would I rather have it be an organic story of one of them being a champion and the other one challenging? Absolutely. But the prospect of Gunther and Cody is still very, very, very big. And honestly, the prospect of Liv Nia is really great. I think it's really great too because we talked about on the phone last night. Two heels, right? Two heels at the top of their division. Very different heels. Liv is very much chicken shit, and Nia is very much dominant Godzilla monster heel. And I think we'll get to the Liv Rhea match, but in that match we introduce Raquel into the fold, and that is who we get the visual representation of the muscle standing in front of Liv when she faces Nia.
Questions in the class? I see you over there.
Question in the class. This is regarding someone that is not involved in that match between potentially Liv and Nia, but this is someone that is involved with one of them. What is the ruling on the Money in the Bank briefcase again?
Oh, it doesn't matter. You can
challenge for anything.
Doesn't matter, right?
And not only that, anything.
Okay.
Anything.
As has been.
Okay.
Any
belt. As in Tiffany about to cash in on the Crown Jewel Championship.
Okay, maybe not that.
So she can. She can cash in on the world title. She could cash in on the North American title down in NXT as well.
But what I was gonna go to is, if there was any time to really start the disorientation of Nia and Tiffany did you try to cash in on me? No thing from last night at Bad Blood and really bring it into Crown Jewel. It's champ versus champ. There's no rule saying Tiffany can only cash in on one of them, right? It's any title. Who's to say Tiffany doesn't get involved and tells Nia, oh, this might be my chance to cash in. I can cash in on Liv. And Nia, you can help me. And Nia goes, great. That'll be awesome. Swerve time, baby.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think you just got it. I think
that might actually be it.
Yeah, man, bro 360 no scope that story for sure.
Yeah. No,
that's good booking.
And it's not that
I just don't care.
It's not that it's the obvious outcome, but it's just like, oh yeah, it's champ versus champ, and there is still a Money in the Bank briefcase holder rolling around the roster.
Yeah, and you play up that she can cash in on either of them, but she goes for the one that we've been waiting for.
Exactly.
I'm with it.
Yeah,
overall, though, we're not rolling with this belt.
Well, no. What I am rolling about
with anything about this gimmick.
Correct. What I am rolling with is what happened with Gunther and Sammy, and Gunther and Goldberg in this segment.
Oh yeah. So So Goldberg is here because it's
Gunther's
Atlanta.
favorite wrestler.
Wait, because there's something really funny that happened even before we acknowledge this. So there was some acknowledgement of people in the crowd. Jacqueline was in the crowd. I believe a Georgia native as well.
I'm assuming so.
Perhaps. Hall of Famer. Lillian Garcia was there. Not a Hall of Famer, criminal, by the way. Absolutely criminal.
Let's make it happen for 41.
Make it happen. Trips. That's
Trips,
your gal.
Come on.
Rock, that's your gal. You can't berate her with the strudel for 20 years and then not put her in the Hall of Fame. You can't do it. So before they talk about Goldberg is mentioned as first an Atlanta Falcon before a WCW superstar, which is just petty ridiculousness. So Goldberg and Gunther goes in the ring and starts talking to Goldberg. Of course, a few weeks ago he was saying how Bret Hart that Goldberg was his favorite wrestler. Goldberg, of course, the one who injured Bret Hart into retirement, which he still whines about to this day. Goldberg, now being in the crowd, Gunther goes in and goes, ew, remember when I said you was my favorite? Nah.
I also love how that was brought up, too, because first off, Gunther came out to talk shit about Cody and saying how he's going to win this Crown Jewel Championship. And then the crowd all of a sudden, because after the crowd was shown that Goldberg is there, the crowd was chanting Goldberg at him because they knew Goldberg was there, and they knew the promo when Gunther said that that Goldberg was his favorite. So then at that point, Gunther turns to Goldberg and starts going at him, and it made it seem like it was unscripted, even though it obviously was scripted.
And he goes, "Hey yo, I'll give you 3 minutes."
Yeah, he did.
I'll give you 3 minutes.
He goes, "I got 3 minutes for you,"
which is the greatest quote Do more of this. I like
said-
I like
well,
this Gunther.
he
I like
goes,
this Gunther when he's
"Yeah,
not
man."
boring or trying
And
to
he's like, oh, the great, he's like, the greatest wrestler in the world would be impressed, but not by you because you're a one-trick pony. He basically said, which is great, absolutely great. And then he goes, Gage, to Goldberg's son, I hope your father is a better. I hope your dad's a better father to you than he was a professional wrestler.
Which then, of course,
Bar.
Goldberg got mad and
Hop the barricade.
Wants to hop the barricade. Take
Oh,
off
he
his
did, though.
jacket.
He did.
Everyone's calling him Bill just to make it seem kind of real, which
Yep.
is just stupid. Like, relax.
Nah,
everybody.
it wasn't stupid. It
Like,
was
everybody
great.
settle down.
Nah, I appreciate when they try to make it
I
look
know.
real.
I
appreciate
got
it.
I got it.
But then security
But-
breaks it up. He holds him back so he can't get in the ring.
Soft. However, no
And-
one really wants this No one wants a Goldberg match. There is
Oh,
conversation.
I'm not gonna lie. At this point, I kind of want
There
it.
is conversation,
I
and
kinda want it.
truthfully, I just kind of look at that and go, "Yeah, but he wants to win. So then, what do we do? Because we have to tell him no, right?
Yes,
we have to
but
tell
I-
Goldberg no.
Absolutely.
But I am
Absolutely.
personally
Goldberg's not gonna
all
like
for. I am personally all for the idea of Goldberg being like, all right, time to get back in the ring. I can beat Gunther, and then Gunther just like eating him.
unless we want a Goldberg, which I don't know. If
No, I'm
Goldberg
down.
will be
I'm
down.
honestly
I'm
down.
down with Goldberg.
We're down for that. I don't think Goldberg wants to be Goldberg.
We'll see.
And
Goldberg said he wanted a retirement match. He didn't say whether he wanted to win it.
Big pass. He's
I'm
way
cool
too
with
late,
it. I think
and
that-
we've soured our taste on him.
I
Can we
think
get it? I got a
Gunther
better
would
idea.
be great for that.
I got a better idea. We do Goldberg versus Gunther, right? Gunther eats him, and Goldberg goes,
But we could not.
I still got one more left in the tank. I can't go out like this. I need a real opponent. Oba
Yeah.
Femi.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going.
Where'd
I'm
you
down
think I was
for it.
going?
It's
I'm
that's
down, but
definitely
it's not
that's definitely
happening.
fantasy. But oh, by the way,
Why?
congrats to Obafemi for today on Sunday, October 6th, becoming the longest reigning NXT North American champion in history and the
We
best
are-
one.
We
But
are Oba sapiens.
we are
we are-
Oba feminists.
We are Oba feminists here.
We are. But back to the subject. I thought you were going a different route, Yusuf, and here's what I think could happen. Depending on circumstances,
Okay.
very serious circumstances that I
Uh-huh.
think we all know where I'm going with this. Same thing. Gunther beats Goldberg. He's on a high, right? Goldberg's like wants to retire after that. And Gunther's like, I'm a world beater. I can beat anybody. I can beat them all. Come out if you want to get these hands, come out here and get it. Brock. What's
You
the
wouldn't have said
logical
that a day ago until we started talking about Brock.
the logical next step? Yes, I would. The logical next step after Goldberg, Brock Lesnar. Why not?
I mean,
And
we've been
with
due for
Mania?
it, but with everything going on right now, I don't think
Yeah,
Brock's showing up on
there's
TV.
some-
Oh,
anytime
that's
soon.
why
there's
I'm
some
saying it.
stuff
That's why I'm
for
saying
Brock.
it. But we have
Yeah.
time. We have time from now until Mania if Brock is found to not be involved in
Because
these
wasn't
things.
Brock Gunther supposed to be the plan
Correct.
2 years ago?
I believe it was.
Or was it this
Yeah.
year?
No, it was.
was 2
Somewhere
years ago,
Riddle
right?
is
I
kicking
think it was
his
this year.
feet in anger.
Oh. Yeah,
I think it was.
Because
somewhere
Gunther will
Riddle
get
is
hit
like,
that match.
well, that should have been me.
That
No,
should have been
man,
me.
It really shouldn't have.
Whatever.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
I prefer this, to be honest.
So, moving on to Tyler's main event of the night, there
Yep.
was the
Shark
Rhea
Cage.
Ripley versus Liv Morgan with Dom in a Shark Cage
Yeah.
match that we should have gotten 2 months ago. But it's fine. Here we are.
I have to preface.
So the match was, I saw only bits and pieces of the match. However, I saw the pinata spot, which is really the spot that we were all looking
Yo,
for.
and when
yeah.
when Rhea looked into the camera and goes, "Happy birthday to me," I loved that, dude. That was
was it?
awesome.
Was it actually her birthday too?
No, I don't think so.
No, but I think she was just like, oh, this is the
Oh,
greatest day of my
pinata
life.
moment. Yeah.
He's like,
But-
he's like, beat the shit out of Dom.
That was-
I have
that
I
was
have to
the moment.
preface with this context because the finish apparently, if the report I read was accurate, and feel free to check it if you can, guys, if you'd like. There was a major botch in the finish that completely changed the outcome. So the way it happened was that Raquel Rodriguez came out and attacked Rhea, causing a disqualification finish. You notice how Raquel then puts Liv on top of Rhea after that match was already thrown out and was expecting there to be a count. Because the plan initially, according to the reports that I saw, and I believe it was PW Insider that was cited, but I didn't see, there was no link to it, so I can't be sure. It was a tweet that I saw that Raquel came out way too early. She was supposed to come out after a ref bump, attack Rhea, put Liv on top of Rhea in the ring. The ref wakes up, 1, 2, 3, Liv wins. but apparently there was a big miscue somewhere along the way, and Raquel came out way too early, attacked Rhea. The ref obviously saw it and had no choice but to call a DQ, or else it would have been illogical. If that's the case, that sucks. I'm not mad about it. Accidents happen. Papa Shango, I'm looking at you, homie. But, it put a bad taste in my mouth for this match, and I do think that report is accurate without citing sources. Without knowing whether or not it's true, I could understand if it is true, because that match being the semi-main event and ends in a DQ sucks. And it puts a dark cloud over the match, because I think Raquel being back is awesome for Liv. I think it's perfect for Liv's character and her evolution as a character. I love that they played up the history that they had as a women's tag team and as women's tag champions. I love that Raquel was the partner that Liv turned to after Rhea turned on Liv to join Judgment Day in the beginning. This all was full circle. Perfect story, exact next direction and where to go. Dominic was hilarious. He's scared of heights, and they raise the cage, and he's looking terrified. He's, crawling around, trying to figure out ways to get out. He picks the lock, is what they said on commentary, because in prison you pick locks, apparently, and you get out of the cage, and then he finds himself dangling upside down on one foot, and that's where the piñata spot happened.
So the two interesting things. That lowrider entrance is fucking funny. We deserved that at SummerSlam.
That was a
too.
movie. We deserved that at Mania, dude. But I mean, with Liv.
And then I appreciate it not putting the shark cage above the ring. I noticed that, and I was like, that's interesting.
Logistically, it would have been probably tough with the cell. That's probably the only reason why they did it that way.
But I like the concept of that, because it's like, oh, we've learned from the Enzo Amore situation. We've learned.
I like that too. And I also think it's nice because it takes away the distraction from the match, because with the shark cage being right above the match happening, you're kind of looking at what the shark cage is doing, and you're finding yourself not looking at what the match is doing.
Also, you can always hear the shark cage guy, which sometimes you just don't.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the match.
It was fun.
That's the main event.
All things. Yeah, that was the main event. Anything with a shark cage should be a main event.
Exactly.
Maybe not.
Which is why it main evented in my heart.
Everyone from Cultaholic to Inside the Ropes is reporting that it was a botch on Raquel's end of doing everything, because it's just like, okay, I get it. You have to call an audible of calling you DQ, but maybe yes, maybe Tyler, maybe they do play into it later. Liv needs help, and Liv, finds all her ways to do things. If they retcon it, boo, because this is kind of a big fuck up on the tail end of the biggest women's feud of the year. So yeah, it's
definitely,
there's its ups and downs, but the match was fun.
Liv was going over anyway. So
Liv was going over anyway at the end of the day, right?
Well, she didn't go over. She didn't go over because she lost by DQ.
Yeah, but she still has the belt.
She still got the belt.
She still got the belt.
Right?
That's what matters.
So now there's there's a sixth member in Judgment Day with Raquel.
R-Truth. Oh.
So seventh then. Eighth if you count Little Jimmy.
Is that? If that's no one said that that's official.
Yeah.
No, but right, Liv's in Judgment Day. Raquel is attached at Liv's hip.
Yeah, but it.
Unless they just dissolve. Honestly, fuck it. Dissolve Judgment Day. After this. Get rid. You're muted, bro.
We've done all we can.
Right, and Damien and Rhea made them all look like dopes. Do they need to continue? It's probably for the best that they just.
Yeah, everyone's been beating the scrubs.
You dissolve Judgment Day with
months.
them kind of being like, we're still a family, and then you kind of. I think one of them has to lose belts. It's probably what's his face and Finn.
Absolutely.
Are they still tag champs? They are,
unfortunately.
Right? For now. Have them drop the belts and then be like, where were you guys? Like the same thing with the whole Damien thing, right? It's like, oh my God, why didn't you guys help me? Just do that. Judgment Day, unfortunately, has run its course. And I think with these feuds coming to an end here, where else do you go with the Judgment Day? Because Finn and JD are still tag champs, yeah, but it's not like they're doing much with their tag division unless they lose them to American Made. That's what they're called. Unless they lose them to the Creed brothers.
They're fucking awesome, by the way.
They are.
Love them.
Oh my God, I love everything they're doing with them. the Wyatts aren't doing anything right now. Maybe you get the Wyatts to show up and spooky and kill Finn and JD.
They've been teasing their next target, and I think their next target might be Miz or Xavier because it's somebody who is getting off the path that they've been on, and both those guys are gearing up for heel turns.
Yeah, I feel like it might be Xavier, but anyway, that can be another conversation for another time, can't it? But with the Judgment Day, it's like, what else do? You got to have them drop the titles. Carlito's not doing shit other than just wrestling random matches on Raw.
Hey, that's not cool. That's not cool.
Am I wrong?
That's not
It's
cool.
accurate.
That's not the question.
Thank you. I'll take
Yeah.
that answer. I'm not taking Tyler's answer. And Liv's obviously was busy with Rhea, but now she's done with Rhea. She's got Nia Jax to worry about, and then after that, what happens?
I mean, I could also see a
exactly?
hot shot title change between now and Crown Jewel on like a Raw or SmackDown between Nia or Liv. But I think with Liv
Well,
right
yeah.
now, I don't think she's losing the belt.
Well,
and I think right now with Raquel, like I said earlier, having Raquel in there to be the buffer between Liv and Nia in the build is actually really cool, I think.
Yeah, I think now it's just a matter of like, what do you do with Liv now? Because assuming she's keeping the title going into Crown Jewel, we know that probably at this point. What do you do after? Because there's no major feud implications, as far as we know, right now, going on with Liv Morgan. They're like, she's done with Rhea for the time being. Cool. I know people are like, they got to do Liv Rhea at Mania next year, and I'm like, no, we can go without that. It's too far. Nah, we're done.
Maybe a day one Raw or a different PLE by the end of this year. I think Rhea will be champion again by the end of this year.
Maybe,
I'm not sure
yeah.
though. I'm not sure.
And then with Dom, like I know people are saying Dom should be geared up to be the next IC champ, like he should be the one to dethrone Jey Uso. Cool, I'm rolling with that. But do you want that to be Dom as part of the Judgment Day, or do you want Dom to be like, I can do this myself?
Yeah, at this point, that's where I'm kind of like, I kind of want with Judgment Day now. I kind of just want Dom and Liv to just be their own thing and have
Yeah.
Raquel be with them as well, and fuck it, like Carlito. I don't care what Carlito does from here. I'm sure it'll be fine.
That's not cool.
And yeah, it's not cool. You know, it is what it is. You know, he'll be fine. But Finn and JD, they'll just be tag champions because they're gonna remember once the Judgment Day's all gone, they're gonna remember. Oh wait, we still have belts.
Yeah.
So there you
But
go.
then it's like,
Then they drop the
like, the
belts
thing
and
is,
I think they go. I think they go from there as a team because
logically,
it's
they
Finn
only
and
drop
JD.
it to like American Made. Is there anyone else on
They're
Raw?
gonna drop him to the War Raiders, I think.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because I think
I
War
am
Raiders now that they'll
perfectly
be
fine
back.
with that. I'm so
Yeah.
glad they're getting the name back too. Oh, and then they can
Yep.
drop it to Penta and Phoenix when Tony stops being a petty bitch.
Or Wyatt 6. Not that they need titles, but you could. It's clear
You
now that
know-
it's more rooted in reality, but I don't know,
Well,
maybe that's a
yes,
different
but-
conversation.
That is a different conversation. The Wyatt Six is such. I'm so curious as to what they do next, like who their next target is. And this is just a segue, and probably we can finish the show off here. But with the Wyatt Six, it's like the way they hunted down Chad Gable intrigued me to like a T, right? Especially with like all the tag matches and everything. Oh my god, it was so much fun. Now who's next, right? Is it Xavier? Probably. And if it is Xavier, how did they do it? I'm very curious I'm curious to see how they work into their next hunt. Because that's all this is, right? It's a
Yeah.
hunt for them. It's a game.
They could cost Xavier the title against Jey Uso on Raw.
Oh yeah,
The
right. He does have
six?
a match with Jay.
Huh?
The
He
six?
could. They
Oh,
could.
so-
Yeah, they've been putting out video packages saying, don't go down this path. This isn't where you're supposed to be. And Xavier could be ready to fully embrace the heel turn and win the title, cheat to win against Jay, and then Wyatt 6, lights drop, dung, 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 do the whole thing.
I
But
still want to one day, hopefully, maybe I'm right, hold on to my theory that their main target all along has been Jey Uso.
I mean, that would
One day.
connect.
Yeah, but how do you connect
So-
the dots? We'll see. But yeah, so
So the one thing that I wanted to bring up, because you brought up random vignettes. Speaking of random vignettes, there's this random vignette going on about coming soon.
Oh, it's not random, baby. That's the Motor City Machine Guns.
Looks industrial. Looks like the SummerSlam logo. Looks like they used the same font.
Cars.
I did not realize this watching the vignette at first because it was like dark when I was watching it, so I couldn't really see everything else. Like it's got the cars going around, and if you are specifically a Detroit sports fan, like I actually just got back from Detroit like today, funny enough. But if you know your Detroit sport landmarks, there's a shot of Joe Louis Arena, which is where the Red Wings played for a very, very long time, which is a big Detroit sports landmark. And everything else about it, it's like there's that. There was an appearance of a fist, and some people thought it was the SmackDown fist, but it's actually what we call the Detroit fist, which is just a giant statue on the west side of the city. That's been sort of like a big cultural landmark to anyone that's from the area or from like the Detroit metro area. And after I watched it again, because I didn't see the report that it was pretty much confirmed it's the machine guns, but I watched it again and I'm like, oh shit, it is Motor City Machine Guns. Okay, cool. Coming soon. When? And I find it awesome because I think for months since we had the idea, obviously, that they were signing with WWE, everyone kind of assumed they were going to NXT, which is wild. I mean, we did, right? Like we all assumed they were going to NXT. I think that's what like the initial report was that they were going to go down to NXT, fuck around there for a bit, and then go up. But apparently, the plan has been for the entire time since they signed was that they're going to SmackDown. And yo, honestly, I'm ready for Saban and Shelley to fucking fuck shit up with like the Street Profits. I'm ready for them. I'm ready for them to dethrone the Bloodline.
That's where it's going, right?
That's
they have
where
to
this is
take the
going.
titles from Bloodline.
I mean, they've also been around for forever. I
Yeah.
feel like I've heard about this group for like 10 years.
They've been around since like 2005.
Yeah. And
So
Shelley's
saying,
also Shelley's been in NXT before because he did
Yeah.
he was in the Time Splitters with Kushida when they had Kushida in NXT.
Yep.
I'm saying so like this group has been around for years, and this group has also been rumored to go to WWE for years. So there's no reason in hell for them to go to NXT.
Oh yeah.
No reason in hell.
Yeah.
For sure. Same with Lucha
Like,
Brothers when they inevitably
that's-
come.
When Tony
Like,
stops being petty.
I think
yes.
we're at the point where most of these people they're mostly there's gonna be more skipping of NXT. Because like you just don't need it.
NXT's
Like, they
for the
just don't need
homegrown
it.
now. NXT's for the homegrown.
Like,
It's for the
yeah.
it's for the next in line. It's for the college athletes they recruit. Like that's where
Yeah.
people are actually there to cut their teeth and you like actually like grind and get better. They're gonna sign people that are already good.
You have a few like Ethan Page where it's just like there's no spot for you on the main roster, homie. Or
Right.
or even people like Stephanie Vaca where it's just like not yet.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
There's just not a space where all of our women who we would want you to do something with are busy. Right? Everybody's busy. So
Yeah.
see us post Mania season for those kind of people like or you know, so like there's gonna be more skipping of NXT. I truly feel that way. I don't think there's people coming in who are gonna have to go to NXT.
I think there
don't see
has
that.
been, since Triple H came back. I mean, look who he's brought back. DIY, Bronson Reed.
Well, those were NXT people. They were
That's
already in
not-
NXT. It's
yeah,
not like
but where did they go? The main roster. They didn't go back to NXT.
I think
They
the other thing you have to
they
think about too
have
is during the Black and Gold era, they were getting all the biggest names from the Indies to go to Black and Gold first, and then from Black and Gold they go to the main roster. Now
well, that's
that
because
we're
they knew
in,
Vince didn't want them.
well, that too. Yes, that is a big part of it. But I feel like now with obviously with NXT, they're focusing on the homegrown, like Black and Silver. This new era of NXT we're seeing is focusing on the talent that were homegrown from the 2.0 era that are now like main event caliber superstars that are able to carry the new era of NXT. And for all the guys that were, big elsewhere, not necessarily indie guys anymore, because obviously there's a whole other major company out there in North America that's run by a fucking crazy person. Yeah, it's just, hey, you're done there. Cool. Come here. You don't have to go to NXT because we know you've been on TV month in, month out. We know you've main evented some of the craziest shows that we didn't run. But just come to the main roster, right? Like the Lucha Brothers, I know people were like, oh, what do you mean they're not going to NXT? What the fuck do you mean? Of course they're not going to NXT. It's Penta and Phoenix. Like, let alone their history in Mexico, what they've been doing in AEW for the last 5 years has been fuck shit up in like main event 5-star tag team matches. Of course they have reason to go. They have every reason to not want to go to NXT. And that's fine now. It makes sense. We don't need NXT as this development ground for guys that have been tearing it up on other promotions. Sure, some of them like Stephanie Vaca or Julia, yes, that's fine, just to help out, what's going on there, and because there's not really a spot for them right now. But the tag team division's kind of dry, so might as well throw in like one of the best tag teams of the last 10 years in the Lucha Brothers, and arguably one of the biggest tag teams of this century in the Machine Guns. Because again, like what Tim was saying, like he's heard that name for years. Yeah, they were one of the biggest names in professional wrestling when they were on TNA. When no one took TNA seriously. but everyone knew about the Motor City Machine Guns. It's a testament to their longevity, and it's a testament to just how good they are, that now they're finally in WWE, and they don't have to go to NXT. They've been one of the biggest names in that specific form of wrestling for like 20 years. It's fine.
All is well. All will be well.
Bullet Club is not fine.
Exactly. Let's just get a best in wrestling real quick. We got a quick ending right now. It's been a long one. It's been a packed one. My best in wrestling this week will go, because I know some of you will say what I'm gonna say, so I won't take it this time. I'm gonna go Punk McIntyre Hell in a Cell is my best in wrestling this week. What say y'all?
Trips doing the sitcom cameo at the beginning of NXT.
Are you ready?
That was great. Oh, I know what mine is. Mine is the end of NXT and not the finish of Trick Williams and Ethan Page. No. It is as Trick Williams is celebrating on the ring ropes with the title and the confetti. You just see the wide shot of the camera of the hard cam, and Punk and Ethan Page are like having a spat. And Punk just grabs Ethan, hits him with a go to sleep as the credits are rolling. Mwah.
So good. That
was so fun.
You guys didn't say it, so now I'm going to say it anyway. I think our collective best in wrestling will be The Rock returning and the whole bloodline closing the show of Bad Blood. Potentially. Maybe I don't speak for all of us, but
actually,
I would say
mine collectively would have been McIntyre Punk.
Solid.
But,
all right. Well, anyway.
Mine was still Triple H.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Y'all, thanks so much for tuning in this week. We really appreciate it. As always, drop us a follow. Drop us a subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Go to TikTok, Vacant Wrestling. Twitter, Vacant Wrestling as well. We're everywhere that you might find us. So go find us. Y'all, we'll see y'all on the next one. Take it easy and be well.
Can the Phillies stop fucking folding?
Go Mets.
Fuck you.